we are always looking for those romantic moments in every episode. So we were trying to, find the one that's perfect for what's going on by, mixing the field day and having her, have the grown-up version of the field day, which is, a little naughty.
I love it. Welcome, Hearties, to another Heart to Hearties. We're the official Hearties podcast for fans of When Calls the Heart. We bring your questions straight to the cast, crew, and writers of When Calls the Heart. I'm Jeanette from Michigan.
I'm Dawn from North Carolina.
And today we're so excited to have some podcast first-timers. Yeah. We're really excited for this. They wrote last night's episode titled Back to School. Please welcome Gina Gold and Aurorae Khoo. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. It's always, we get so giddy when we have new faces here. So.
That's true. That's true. So new blood.
So you're new to the writing room for When Calls the Heart for season 13. And it sounds like the two of you have been writing together for quite a while now. Wanted to share with Hearties some of the credits we found. We have NCIS, you work together, Nurse Jackie, another Hallmark favorite that I think there's a lot of crossover, Chesapeake Shores we saw. Did you both do Chesapeake Shores as well?
We did.
Oh, great.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Go Chessies. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of crossover between Hearties and Chessies. So
right.
We love to hear it. And so does that mean, did you work with John Tinker while he was a showrunner over there, or was that
we actually didn't? We were there the season that a wonderful showrunner named Fief Sutton took over.
Oh yes, okay.
He did the last few seasons, and he and I actually go way back because he was my first boss. I started out as his assistant.
No kidding.
And he's we've worked with him over the years, and still a good friend.
Oh,
so
okay. Great. Well, we had to ask about John because he was our very first writer we ever had on the podcast. And then he also was just really instrumental in helping us start Heart to Hearty. So we love that little.
We met him years ago, just in passing, and we've always heard good things about him.
Yeah.
We've just never worked with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Wow. Well, the idea of being a duo, I mean, this is new to me, but it sounds like you've been working together a long time. So tell us about writing a duo, and then how does it work, especially with this episode?
Well, we love answering that question. We get it all the time. But there's a lot of teams of writers. And, we hope to be a little more unique as we're two women writers who are a team. And we were friends first.
Oh, really?
Is really key to a long-term writing partnership because it's like, I think it's even more intense than a marriage.
Sometimes we've spent more time with each other than our partners. So
well, just the collaborative thing, and then you have to let go for some things. I can't imagine. I mean,
doing something creative. It's like if you were to be building a house with your husband every day.
Yeah.
If you've ever put together IKEA furniture with your partner.
Right.
You know what that's like. And this is like IKEA furniture every day.
Oh, my word.
And there's no instruction manual. So we're just like, someone throws a bunch of pieces at us. We have to put it together under time pressure. Go get that coffee table now.
Okay, I give up. You're right.
So it's been a long journey. I think what makes our partnership work is that we have the same values. So we sort of value the same thing creatively, but also just how we move through the world. And so that I think helps our partnership keep going. In this episode, our process is always pretty much the same. We brainstorm with the writer's room, and the story is chaperoned by Joy Gregory, our wonderful showrunner. Our other staff members, we all collaborate and get it together. And then after all the outlines are done, Gina and I are left to our own devices to write.
Mm.
And in the old days, or if we have more time, we'll do every single line together by screen sharing. So, Zoom screen share?
Yeah.
One person will type one day, and the other person is bossy person. They don't have to touch the keyboard. They can say, do that, because you have more perspective when you're not
Right.
physically
Yeah.
maneuvering. And then the next day we'll switch. The
Oh my.
person who is bossy person becomes the laborer, and
Right.
then the other person is bossy person. So they get to have a more of a bird's eye view, and you go through the whole script that way. But Gina, you can talk about our alternating acts for this one.
Well, yeah. So sometimes when we are under a little more time pressure, which, happens here because we were working on two scripts this season,
Hmm.
we'll just split the acts and it doesn't, matter which one, we just split them up evenly. Or, if you have a preference for
You
one or
go
the other.
every other one.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Sure. Yeah.
then, we just take a pass at it and then we
You
switch and
flip.
whatever the other one wants to do with it, go with God. Or we
Right.
trust each other enough and
Our
it always
creative, our creative voice has become because we've been together so long. I think I've lost track of the years.
15 years.
I was gonna ask though, because you were saying a good friend, how many years ago? We're more than a decade, more than
Oh,
that?
way more than a decade. We don't want
Yeah.
to age
Really? Wow.
ourselves.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Way
That's
more than
great
a
though.
decade.
Yeah.
Maybe, do we dare say 2 decades? I
It
don't
might
even
be.
want to say it.
I mean, just quickly, we started writing because Roy was out of town and had come back from out of town and was waiting for her apartment to open up and was staying with me and my ex at the time. And she was working in I had a little extra desk in my office and she was working on her things and my things. And we're like, why don't we try writing something together? What the hell?
Oh,
And we
It was so
did,
much
and
more
we had
fun.
submitted it to something at the Writers Guild of America, and we ended up winning this competition together. And like, oh my goodness, maybe we have something here. And the rest
Wow.
was history.
so
Wow.
cool. Really
Wow.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so you guys were with this episode, did you do, separate acts or just do the screen share? What was the
Separate
process for that
acts
one?
and then flipped.
Mm.
Okay. All right. All
So
right.
we'll flip as many times as necessary,
Mhm.
to get it right. We'll just keep flipping back and forth, back and forth.
Wow.
So
So
cool.
interesting. Well, the Back to School was directed by Elise Late Rogers, and it started because Elizabeth in the schoolhouse really rattled just a lot of things. I mean, I think it's probably about trauma, but I don't know. You're the writer, so maybe you can tell me. But Kara Martins from Dallas, we tweet for you when it live, and so she said, "All your activities fall flat. Every teacher's been there." And then, but Pamela Zoller of Florence, Kentucky, said Elizabeth is a veteran teacher who faced this before, and why was she so insecure? So that was the conversation that we had last night.
Well, first of all, she's human.
Yep.
And it's been a while since she had to deal with this kind of tragedy. And every, everything that happens is its own beast and its own animal. And here she has all of these kids coming and having to blend in with her own students, and they have their own trauma. And the kids in Hope Valley also had some trauma. Some of the kids
Exactly.
were there for the fire. So she's just trying to make these kids a community, as she says, and our wonderful colleague Ali Devereaux said, and if you think about it, it mirrors the blended family that she's trying to create in her own life. So it's very
Oh,
similar.
that's
And
funny.
she's just been reminded of what she had to deal with the first season, right? It's been a while, as Gina said, since she has to deal with this sort of tragedy, this sort of
Mhm.
challenge. And she has to remind herself, okay, I know how to do this. I've done it before. Back to basics.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
almost that
Yeah.
stored trauma, as you said, of, okay, I've been through this, something like this
Yeah.
before. And it still makes you nervous. I've taught also, and
Mhm.
every semester, every first day of class, I still get the jitters.
Sure.
Oh
let
yeah.
alone if there
Yeah.
was a trauma like this. I just
Mhm.
always like, am I going to be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Very true. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a great reminder, I think, for us Hearties is we
Mhm.
forget that our leading lady and our heroine of 13 seasons is still human, you know?
Right.
So it's nice to see those moments like that. And it was really hard for the Hearties to see the kids of Hope Valley. We saw them, trying to reach out to these Benson Hills kids, but they were just they had this trauma, so they weren't able to receive that help. And that kind of became a theme through the episode where we saw Gwen, pushing back with Rosie a little bit. And then we had Maisie who wouldn't take Mike's help. So we saw it quite a bit there. So talk to us about why you decided to kind of focus on that and I think a lot of people can relate to that, having a hard time accepting help. So.
I think when adults can most of the time be more gracious about accepting help, they know how to swallow their pride or they know the practical realities of that. But kids, I have a 10-year-old. If she lost her favorite stuffed animal and someone replaced it with the identical looking one, it's still not right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Still not
yeah,
Mhm.
familiar. And so just being a mom, I know that if we were displaced like this and had to go somewhere, even if people were really helpful, my daughter would still be angry and resistant and confused and sad. And Maisie is just so tough and prideful. She's used to doing it all, and especially being the big sister to Mike, never showing vulnerability. So, in a way, she would hate to, admit this. She's kind of like a kid, in
mm.
that sort of stubbornness.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as Joy Gregory may have said in one of the earlier podcasts, when we were starting to write this, we were really living it here in LA.
Yeah.
We
Right.
had
Yeah.
just come out of the fires. We all have friends and family who lost their homes, and everybody was donating things. And Aurorae wrote this wonderful line that I love that little Missy says about, we don't want everybody's old shoes and blankets and their sad faces. We want our own
Yeah.
stuff.
So
It's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
So real. Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
And kids,
yeah.
the people like brought at the Rose Bowl here, which is near Altadena, but brought all the kid stuff like stuffed animals or used clothes and used toys. And in a way, in a moment of desperation, parents will take it. But I just know some kids were resistant to it.
Mhm.
That's not the color I like. I'm
Right.
going to look
Hmm.
horrible in that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
still this vanity, which is actually controlled to stay secure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you wonder if there were some viewers from that area, some Hardies who could just really see themselves in those moments, as you guys did as you were writing it. It makes me want to rewatch it and watch it through that lens,
Yeah.
if you experience that. That's really
Yeah, it's like
powerful.
we have a tiny scene where Lucas is passing out things and all the tables and the flowers and the families are stopping by and things like that.
Hmm.
That's like when we wrote that, we're like, that's exactly like the Rose Bowl. That's like exactly like the
Yeah.
Mhm.
distribution points
Hmm.
in Santa Monica or whatever. They have a big table, whatever random stuff shows up, they start passing it out.
Mhm.
Wow. Beth Pranke of Wisconsin wrote last night that she loves the intensity and the drama that we got last night. Um, I tweeted that I don't know what this says about me, but I really love Lee when he gets intense and a little angry. I don't know why I enjoy it so much, but I think because Cavan it's just such meaty, script for him to work with, and he just shines in those moments. But wow, the McGinty moment where he brought up the drooling toddler definitely triggered Lee as well as all the Hearties. We were like, don't mess with our Goldie. So talk to us about writing that moment and why you picked that little jab about his daughter. I thought that was interesting.
Well, first of all, we just love writing for Lee, and we love seeing this color in him. And there was endless conversation about how far to push him. And, we
Right.
don't want
Yeah.
him to be our Lee. We don't want him to go too far, but
Yeah.
look what
Right.
he's been through with losing the part, years and years of work in the Playhouse. And, it's named after his daughter. And it's just so heartbreaking. And I actually was writing that line in the first draft, and I was like, what? what would be the thing that would push him too far? And
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I know what it is.
Oh, wow.
Any parent can probably
Yeah.
relate,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Wow.
Well, and then we move to Kevin and Pascal with the jail scene, which they've talked about quite a bit. And they talked about it on the Edify show. And both of them said that they kind of described it that there wasn't a lot on the page, but it really sort of took them by surprise. And, they've worked together for so many years that they just have this naturalness about them. So talk to us about when you kind of, choose to go a little less on the writing and let like what goes into that kind of decision versus a more, with a lot more dialogue.
I think when we have a two-person scene like that, that's very intimate, we can lean on subtext.
Mm.
What
Mm,
is the
Mm.
unspoken between the lines? And we know that they've worked together for a long time and worked so well that less is more.
mm,
There doesn't need to be all this explaining. It's almost like it starts with, I know what you're going to say because
yeah.
every husband and wife knows what they would say in this sort of moment. And it's almost stronger if she doesn't lecture him because we don't want the scene where a wife is finger wagging.
Right.
Mhm.
You
Right.
both did it. I love that.
Ladies
That's a
on
common thing in
TV,
television. You don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
ladies on TV, mothers on
Love it.
TV, right?
Yeah.
We always are portrayed as, and let me tell you this.
Yes.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, that's not how we are.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's an easy thing to fall into. Rather, it's about a relationship between these two people and how they connect in this moment. And it felt more real to have more silence.
Mm.
Mm.
And actually, I just think they did such a beautiful job because some of the lines I thought were, they were on the funny side, like I know what you're going to say.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I kind of pictured them doing it a little bit more comedically than they did. And I was like, oh my God, it's
Um,
perfect.
yeah.
Especially Pascal did.
Interesting.
It was so
Wow.
much more, it was serious and solemn, which, that's the beauty of writing. It's like what the actors can bring to it that you didn't even see.
Sure.
Yeah. I loved
Yeah.
the follow up at the row house, like when
Me
he
too.
goes,
That's what I was going to
yeah,
tell you. Yeah.
when he said, I need some time to think, and she's like, the minutes in the jail weren't sufficient. Like that was so
That was
good.
a perfect
Such a
line.
great line. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who was that?
Yeah.
Who got who's credit for that one?
We don't remember. It blends together, but
Funny because
literally
sometimes
blends
there were
together.
lines where I thought, oh no, Elizabeth wouldn't say that or do that because she's so nice and sweet. And Joy would say, no, 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 they dig at each other here and there. And I was like, oh good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
still all new to us,
it's
you
a
know.
real relationship, and someone was talking about, I don't remember when, maybe I was talking to someone else about that, the idea that it's the Edify, like after show last time they were talking about that they've been married for 10 years. I'm like, oh my word, you don't really think about that they don't celebrate an anniversary all the
Mm.
time. So that was kind of the idea that, like you were saying, they have shorthand
Hmm.
between them two, those two. So, but one of my favorite things right this season is the girl dad for Lee. I mean, love it. I mean, and I think Kevin only has boys. Is that correct? Maybe I don't
I
remember.
think
I
so.
think
In real
he
life.
only has
Yeah.
boys. So it's to me that he's just really living in that space as a girl dad. And then we get Gwendolyn and how you wave that whole thing with Lee, and it's almost like he needs it and she needs it.
Hmm.
So how did you kind of go through, how do you want to, approach that with this particular episode?
Well, we were sort of designing Gwen first. What kind of kid is this person? My daughter, who's 10, is very much a Gwen.
Oh, really?
Love
Yeah.
that.
And I'm very much more of a Rosemary. And we have friction because Rosemary's like, so how are you feeling? Let's talk about this. Let's process. And there's this sort of like this nurturing through talk.
Mm.
processing through talk. And sometimes my daughter gravitates more towards her dad because he just, it's like activities. Let's just build this robot. Or they carve little wooden cars together, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Nice.
So, and in that activity, they don't talk about feelings. They don't talk
Right.
in that way, but they're bonding and there's this calmness that's very different than an energy that maybe Rosemary or I would bring to this Gwen type of character. But Gina, you can talk more on that.
I mean, the thing that's wonderful is, you want to give your characters a challenge too. So we like this is the girl that would be a challenge for
Mhm.
Rosemary.
Yeah.
And then, but Elizabeth spots it and she goes, you think you have nothing in common, but you have so much in common because you're such strong-willed, ladies, women.
Sure.
Yeah.
And, she's going to relate to that in you. And she saw
Yeah.
it coming.
I
Well,
literally just recorded that because I do like reels for Instagram, and that exact scene where she called her strong will, and Pascal gives that face like she's so insulted.
Mhm.
She's like, no, it's a good thing. That's one of those Elizabeth Rosemary moments here.
yeah, yeah.
So good.
Well, I love the idea of like when Gwen has the brownie, and Rosie said, just
Mhm.
go to, I don't know, does he say the Lee? I don't remember how she addressed
Addressed
as
him.
Lee. I don't remember now.
He just said, I need a minute.
Oh,
And,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and what I love is rather than being like insulted or upset, she just, turns to her
That's a,
little girl and says, sometimes daddies need a little.
Yeah, that was so sweet. That's so sweet. But I like the idea that, it was Gwen with the brownie going to Lee. And that's
Mhm.
He
it's a perfect
manipulated it.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
She connects with him the
Yes.
way that kind of girl would start it with, so I heard you beat someone up.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, that's
Because
good.
Some
that's
some
worth talking
gossip.
about.
Yeah.
In Gwen's world, in Gwen's language, that is the key point. That what makes Lee cool. He beats
Yeah,
someone up, even if it's not true. And Lee has to diffuse that and say, whoa, 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 that's not the lesson to take here.
Yeah.
That's the type of a childish enthusiasm Gwen would bring to that situation.
Sure. Well, and he really nailed it. I mean, it was, simple, kind of not comedy, but a lighthearted. It's like, nah, it's not something that should have been done. But
Mhm.
I mean, but how he approached it. But and did you get any kind of background about Gwen at all when you went to the page? I was curious because what was introduced yesterday. A week before. So, well, we know she has just one dad. I don't know what the situation for their family, but she's really attached to her dad too.
Yeah.
mm,
We're going to learn more about her as this season goes on. So I don't want to say
Mhm.
too much, but yes, she's very
yeah.
close to
Okay,
her dad.
perfect. I love it. I love it.
Well, we're excited to see all, where that goes with Kevin and her especially.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
talked about how much he loves working with her.
Yeah,
So
the
Oh, good.
chemistry between the two of them was amazing.
that's awesome.
Exactly.
One thing in particular that I caught was when she was looking out the window at Lee
When
and
Rosemary
Gwen.
was looking out the
I'm
window.
sorry, when Rosemary was looking out the window at Lee and Gwen. If you probably wouldn't even notice it, but there's this little reflection of the sheets billowing in the wind off the window, and I was like, oh my God, this woman is
Oh,
good. It was
Mm,
just gorgeous. So anyway,
yeah. Yeah, she's historically we got to interview quite a few of the directors last year, and everyone, she has a very distinct style, and Hearties
mhm.
definitely are like, oh, this is an Elise episode, like beautiful, creative
Mhm.
gorgeousness on our screens for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we also got another treat for the eyes last night. Elise Late Rogers had another gorgeous shot in the field at golden hour that just captured us. Um, and we love the moment of stopping and taking a breath, which I think everyone could use right now with just watching the show and the world that it is. It was such a beautiful moment. So talk to us about creating that
well, it's
and what
very
inspired
astute of
it.
you to pick that up because it really
Yeah.
was meant to be a breath in the middle of all of this.
Oh, love it.
And you may realize that we're always looking for those romantic moments in every episode. So we
Mhm.
were trying to, find the one that's perfect for what's going on by, mixing the field day and having her, have the grown-up version of the field day, which is, a little naughty.
I love it.
I love it.
It was very special. Yeah,
That's
really
funny.
beautiful. Well, and then we ended on kind of a heavy note from that lighthearted. We were taking a breath to Toby and Cooper's admission, and Hearties are a little on edge and worried about our boys. And we had one Heartie who said, I love this. Hearties are such sleuths. They're like, based on the burn with multiple locations and most of it appearing a couple feet off the ground, obviously the boys couldn't have done it. I love that they're like assessing the situation. So for you all as the writing team with this big fire playing out and, things like potentially arson or accidental fire coming in, did you have to do some research about the fire world?
Yeah, we actually had how many? Like different fire.
Well, Liam Fernley, one of our writers, used to work, I don't know if he was a volunteer firefighter or
He knew a firefighter who came to speak with us.
Really?
something in the firefighting.
Oh, we love
Yeah.
him too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
a firefighter that
He knew.
from Alberta, actually, I think, was like came and spoke to us about wildfires
So cool.
and that sort of thing. And our one of our executive producers, David Gray, actually had worked on a TV show called Fire Country.
Oh,
So
wow.
he
Yeah.
had
He wrote the
sort of
big fire episode. So
Yeah.
yeah, we did a lot of studying on fire and debates over what clues fires could leave behind, which, we don't want to reveal too much, but that's
Right.
all from all the research that was done.
there's a lot of clues, and some of them, will feel right, some of them won't feel right, and eventually
Mm.
our heroes are going to figure out what's going on.
Wow. Well,
That's so
how
cool.
many episodes left? We have a long way to go.
A lot to unfold
And
for
it
sure.
said there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. That's all we can.
Yes. Mhm.
See,
Yes,
and we
okay.
love that.
We're here for it.
We love that. I think, well, in this season in particular, it's been more drama versus just light weightedness. I don't know how to say that, but I'm loving it. I mean, every episode, it's either a heavy topic for conversation or a heavy topic of, things that are going on in Hope Valley and beyond. But
And it's a great way to, set off the season. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many things.
yeah,
So good.
Literally, the action of the actual fire, but just the aftermath and how each character deals with it. So it's just has been such rich ground for us to, spin the season with because it just doesn't stop. There's so many different incarnations of what can be done.
right. Well, we're excited. I know we have a lot to go through yet, but man, it has been a treat. Even we're only at episode 3, right? So,
Mhm.
And by the way,
all right.
kudos to David for writing that amazing episode and to our crew for putting that together.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
just
yes.
phenomenal.
Yes. Well, we're gonna, turn the page and go to Heartieship. Have you
Have they
looked
warned
at
you?
what that looks
Yes,
like?
yes.
So
We've seen the game that other people have played.
there you go. It's so funny because it's just like, and some people are so really like they're in, and but you only have 3 options. Hit. We love that. Miss, not as much, but you can have it. Miss is fine.
It's fine.
Classified, no. But if you could do, those are the 3 options for hit, miss, and classified, and we're just having just a few of guesses for season 13. So, are you ready?
I love game
Here we
shows.
go.
Let's go.
All right. In season 13, Maisie and Mike will set up a lemonade stand together and raise money for the fire victims.
Miss.
I
Fine.
Nice
love
try.
that.
Nice
That
try.
lemonade stand scene was so
Good try.
good. She was 26, he said. So good. So good. All right. In season 13, Gwen's preference for pants will soon rub off on Goldie, who will demand her own.
Miss.
Well,
Again,
because we're little
Oh.
bloomers. So
That's true. But those are so cute.
yeah, cute.
Those cute. All right. In season 13, Rupert is going to want to rebuild his Roman Empire with his new friend Allie.
kind of
That is
of a
a miss
hit.
with a little bit of a hit.
Ooh,
That's all we can say.
Oh, I love that.
Interesting.
I'm okay with just a small. I'm good.
Kind
I'm
Kind of a
good.
hit.
You know.
Kind of a hit.
He's an
Wow.
interesting character. I'm curious to see how much
Yeah.
more we'll see of
Interesting.
him.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Maisie will run for governor herself. Wow. Challenging Lucas in the upcoming election. That would be something.
Classified.
Guide.
Oh, classified. Interesting.
I'm going to ponder on that.
I know. Hearties, comment below.
Oh,
What's that
my
about?
word. Oh, interesting. All right. Gwen's father will be implicated in the starting of the fire.
Ooh.
Classified.
Oh, classified. Can't get any
Oh,
fire.
dear.
Oh.
Oh,
All
wow.
right.
This is so exciting. So exciting.
All right, last one. We have not yet seen, oh, I'm sorry. We have not seen the last of Oliver citing poetry to Allie.
Hit.
Hit.
Ooh.
Wow. Good.
We're here for that. They're so
All right.
sweet. Yeah.
Good game, you guys. Good game.
Well done for your first time.
I know, exactly.
Thanks.
Your premiere podcast for this one and out of the park. All's good. I
Thanks.
love it. Well, thank you so much, Gina and Aurorae. And you guys are so talented. We're so appreciative for your time today. And we're just so excited. Now, did you do another episode for season 13? Yes, that's
Yes.
true. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for everything that you've done for the Hearties.
You're welcome.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Of course, that would be great. So Cooper and Toby need us, Hearties. So comment below, and if you have any ideas about the burn patterns or any comments about this episode and or kind of predictions for next episode, we always love to see your comments. So make sure you subscribe. We will bring more chats to you this season. We're so excited about what we have lined up. And so we will see you on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central on the Hallmark channel. And we will see you next week at Heart to Hearties.